Right. Hi, everyone. Just waiting for some people to gather around. Um, just see it. Yep. So we're getting started here pretty soon. Thanks for coming. Hope everybody's having a good day. We, yeah, I worked all day from home. My husband worked from home. My girls, we tried to homeschool. Well, it turns out I'm not a teacher, so thanks to all those teachers out there who work so hard every day to educate our kids. And a shout out to those of you who are going out there in the world to work, who have to work, the first responders and the healthcare providers, and doctors and nurses and everyone at the hospitals, but also to all those other people who are keeping the world working for us and risking their lives. And everybody else, I hope you're staying safe and staying home and washing your hands a lot and doing your best not to touch your face. Okay, so just letting people gather up, and so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So thank you so much for joining me tonight on Facebook Live. Tonight's discussion is part of a series from Iowa's Healthiest State Initiative, Make It Okay, and Please Pass the Love. So thank you to all of those organizations. As you know, we have a global pandemic, and taking care of our mental health right now is really, really important for all of us for our overall wellness. So each Monday, a mental health professional like me will be hopping on here to give you guys some tools and some resources and to talk it through with you a little bit to help support your mental health and the mental health of your children and your families and your neighbors. So let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Amy Shriver. I'm a general pediatrician. I work here in Des Moines. I work on early childhood issues a lot, so I work a lot with the early child care providers out there and the early childhood educators. So hi, if any of you guys are on, give me a shout. And today we're going to talk about routines. So right now, none of us has a great routine. Our routines have kind of been thrown off. We've had to readjust pretty much everything in our lives to try and make things work. And some of us are like, well, do I really need routines? Can I just do what I want when I want now that I have a little more flexibility in my time? And some of you are praying for routines. So we're going to talk about the benefits of routines for children, but also for grown-ups and the family unit, and why routines are so crucial to help support your mental health and well-being. So I'm trying to give it to you in little pieces that make sense. So we're going to start, and I have a little diagram back here that's going to help me. So bring it up closer so we can see it. So the first one is, why are routines and rituals crucial for our well-being and good mental health? So there are a few reasons why. One is it gives us structure, comfort, and predictability. So children really thrive on routines, as most of us know. It helps a lot to know what's coming next, to have a sense of rhythm in your life, of predictability, to know when they're supposed to be doing things so that they can then respond in kind. What it does for children is it helps them feel safe, secure, loved, and cared for. It gives them boundaries. As you know, many children will try and push against boundaries, and so when they feel a firm limit, that makes them feel safe, like, okay, now I know that I should never go past that limit. I mean, kids try to push our limits all the time, but that's why we need to put limits in place, and that's why having routines and schedules for kids is really healthy for making them feel safe. The second thing is that routines help reduce the load on our brain. So every day our brain has to multitask and think of millions of things. Having a routine helps reduce the amount of things we have to think about, organize, and plan in our day, because these are things we just do every day. And so we don't have to use that part of our brain as much. And so it kind of helps us to reduce the stress in our brain. The next is that routine can improve our health. So depending on which routines you pick, of course, getting enough sleep is a really important health routine. Falling asleep at approximately the same time at night, getting up approximately the same time every morning, that's really good for our overall health. doing things like brushing your teeth is really important. If you have a routine to eat a healthy breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then that's good for your health. Also, if you are doing some routine exercise, that's also good for your health. So a lot of our daily kind of things that we do every day can improve our health. And conversely, not having a routine can really harm our health, right? So if we're going to bed at different times at night and waking up at random times during the day, that can really mess up our day-night rhythms, and it can leave us feeling a little bit icky. It can affect the way we're able to function in the morning, our mood, our ability to get things done and be organized. So routines can be great. Conversely, having no routine can be harmful for your health. What else? So routines help optimize our day. So if you have no routine, you can say, well, oh, I'll do that later. I'll get that done later. So it promotes procrastination if you're not doing routines. So it's a great idea to kind of plan a little bit of a routine every day, even in these times where things are a little bit nuts, so that you can be a little bit more efficient with your day. You can get more done. And then it turns out that some routines can actually teach us stuff. So if you have a routine, for example, if you practice the violin every day or practice the piano every day, that's a great routine, and chances are you're going to get better if you do that every day. So incorporating those types of things into your day helps you learn things and get better. And then having a routine helps us prioritize self-care. So you've probably heard a lot about self-care these days. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. You're doing things to reduce your stress and anxiety, maybe meditation, maybe increasing your exercise, or finding time to spend time with friends online. So if you have a regular routine, you can actually incorporate those types of self-care in your routine. If you don't, sometimes those are the things that fall by the wayside because your day kind of speeds by, and then all of a sudden you run out of time to take care of yourself. So having a routine that includes self-care can really help you out that way. And that's the same with kids. Kids need that as well, and we'll get to that. And then finally, the point I want you all to know about routines is that it helps us build resilience. What is resilience? Resilience is how we can manage adversity when it comes our way. I like to tell families when I see them in my clinic that, we want the best for your child. We both have the same goals for your child. And the goals aren't really to make sure that nothing bad happens to your child, because that's nobody's life. Something bad is going to happen to all of us at some point. So we all have a road of life with bumps in it. And so if you know that ahead of time, if you build up your ways to handle the stress that comes with these adverse times like right now, then you're better able to handle it, and you're better able to come out successful on the other side. So building resilience is something we talk about with kids all the time, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about what are the components of resilience that we can work on building right now through routines. So I love falling back on Dr. Ken Ginsberg's 7 C's of resilience. I talk about them a lot. I use a couple of them pretty much daily in my clinical practice. So I just wanted to go over what those C's are so you guys know how you can build your own resilience and how you can help your kids build that through routines. So let's see. So my 7 C's of resilience are down here. The first one is connections. So when we're going through hard times, one of the number one things we need is to feel connected, to feel like we matter, to feel like we have someone to talk to and someone to help us through. So forming connections within your own family unit is important. But right now, we've cut off a lot of our connections because we're not really supposed to be hanging out with our friends and visiting our extended family and grandmas and grandpas. So we have to find extraordinary ways to feel connected with each other. So that takes extra effort, and you need to really incorporate that new thing into your routines. Is how can I reach out with the technology that we have to stay and feel connected with those that I love, right? And I see a lot of you really like that, because I feel like I miss a lot of my friends and family that I don't get to see. So I'm trying, and it's just kind of a work in progress for all of us. So help your children do that too. There are a lot of great ways to help your child feel connected. There's Skyping with Grandma, there's Facebook, there's Facebook Messenger for kids. I'm not recommending any of them. I'm just saying there are ways, so you can look into those. The second C is coping, right? So finding ways to help your child cope through routines is important, and just really practicing some of the healthy daily routines will build their coping skills. There are other things that you can do to help them cope, like teaching them how to do certain kinds of exercise. I love it when preschools and elementary schools do yoga. I don't know if you guys are yoga fans out there, but that really is a great method to help kids cope with stress. So there's a lot out there, but coping is really important. Teach your kids how to cope, make sure you're having routines that help you cope. And then the third is competence. And so helping children to build competence through routines is a great idea. So of course we want to teach our children routines of doing their chores, right? Like every day, get up, make your bed. Okay, my kids aren't great at that, but make your bed every day. And then what's another like a routine chore? Like help me set the table every night, help me clear off the table every night. And maybe now is a great time to teach some of your older kids how to do the laundry and how to vacuum. And, you know, so there are ways to increase your child's competence or just give them a new skill set so they can feel like they have a brand new skill that is also a routine in your house. The next one is confidence, right? So we want to give kids a chance to not only build their skills, but to understand that they have abilities and to appreciate that they have abilities. So doing routine things that are chores around the house can really help build their confidence as well. And then character. Building character is another part of our resilience. If we understand right from wrong, if we understand how to give back to our community, if we know how to be helpful, these are important ways to build character, and routines can really help our kids do that. So this is an opportunity to teach our kids about how we can, you know, improve their character, I guess. And likewise for us, if we're doing routines that are good for ourselves, and then if we find some new routines in our lives, like finding one way to be kind to other people during this time, I think that that's something that can help us through the time too. The next thing is contributions. Like that kind of goes a little bit with character, but how can I feel like I'm giving back to the whole, right? So you're contributing to your family unit by doing routines and chores, by being responsible, by following directions, by making sure that the house runs smoothly and that you're a part of that. So contributing to a bigger picture can build your resilience. And then finally, control, like giving your child some control. It gives them a power of agency. It makes them feel like an independent human person that has the abilities to make a difference on their own. They have the power to do something on their own. So doing routines that involve some kind of chores or activities at home can help kids build resilience through giving them some control. So these are the 7 C's of resilience, and I think it's important when we talk about routines to understand what it's doing for our kids and what it's also doing for ourselves. And routines can help us feel a little bit more in control when we're in the scenario where there's a lot that we can't control, or it just sometimes feels out of control. So, so those are my 7 C's. Now, how do you know if you need a routine or if you need a new routine in your life? There are some ways that you might know that. One is if you run out of time, if you just need more time to get stuff done, you're constantly running out of time, you just didn't make all your goals for the day, or you got up too late, or you procrastinated, then it might be time to figure out a routine, because I think you'll feel a little bit more accomplished if you do. The second is if you find that you just need more quality time with your family. So routines can help you do that by getting stuff done, by, you know, getting some teamwork in the home, and then just by scheduling that quality time as part of your routine, then that can help as well. So when I asked my daughter, Abby, what routines or rituals she really liked, she talked about at night, at least these days, we go down and watch a show together before bed, and that's one of her favorites. And come on in. I invited her to participate. So there's my daughter, Abby. So come on in, Abs. Hello. Okay, so Abby, what are some routines that you do around the house?
Well, there's a morning routine where we get up and then we come downstairs and we eat breakfast and we brush our teeth, and then we And then we start on the checklist that she gives us to do school stuff.
Right. Well, we're trying to figure out school routines, and I think that's a whole other topic. And like I said, thanks to all the teachers out there who make life better for us. I'm not a teacher. We're trying our best, but I don't expect that, we're all just trying to get from day to day on that one, right? Right. And what about at night? What's our routine at night?
Well, after dinner, we'll go downstairs and we'll watch a bunch of shows. And then we'll go upstairs and we brush our teeth. And then we get into our pajamas and we take a shower or whatever. Not necessarily in that order. And then we read stories together. And then we go to bed.
Right, so we always try to incorporate reading together as a part of our nighttime routine. And how long have we been reading stories together?
Forever.
Forever, right. So I think, you're never too young or too old to have stories read to you or to use that as part of a bedtime routine. But also just as a daytime routine now that things are kind of going awry, you might as well put books in there. Oh, I got a lot of happy faces for books. So, yep. And hopefully you guys can, at the end, tell me some of your favorite routines and some of your favorite books maybe that you're finding during this time where we're in increased stress load. Okay, so Abby's going to help me for the rest of the time. And so let's see. Okay, so other reasons that you might need a routine. One is to stop with conflicts or with nagging. Okay, so if you know that there's a bedtime routine and it happens every night at 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever time your bedtime is, if you always know that that's the routine, it reduces the nagging quite a lot, right? So you're just like, oh, it's time to go up, and everybody goes up. That doesn't always work, and certainly there's sometimes some nagging. So if you feel like that's an issue, sometimes you can take what the routine is and write it down on a list or type it out and put it on the wall, and the routine then is like on the wall officially. And teachers really know this. If something's on the wall, it's really official, so it's not coming from you. You don't have to be the bad guy. It's just written on the wall, so it's true. So that's how you can avoid some of the nagging. But other things are like Friday. Maybe you have a routine or ritual that Friday is like takeout night or pizza night or whatever. And if you always know that that's the case, then you don't have a big argument about like, oh, let's get this or that or the other thing. And you're not eating until 8:30 p.m. So those types of rituals and routines can really help people like stop the arguing, right? Okay, also, if you want to start new habits or chores, right? So hey, my daughters are old enough to help me out in the house, so it's time to start this new routine with them where they're doing the laundry or they're doing something else for me. And then finally, if you want to reduce your own stress or your family's stress. So routines are just a way to take a big deep breath and like know that you're in control of something, so it can reduce your stress load that way. And then finally, it's, as we talked about before, a way to make your family feel safe, secure, and loved. So if you want to do or need to do those things, then it's a good time to start a routine. So here are some things that I think are good to focus on if you're like, what exactly are my goals or objectives for my kids or myself during this time of stress for routine? So I don't know if you can see the top list. Get it a little closer. There you go. So these are actually coming from a doctor that I admire very much, Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris. She says if you don't have these 6 things in place, it's going to be really, really hard to battle your stress and anxiety and other things. So the first thing is focus on good nutrition. Second is make sure you've incorporated exercise. And that doesn't have to be vigorous exercise, but something like a family walk every day, or just something fun maybe that like you can, we were playing badminton the other day, or just kicking the ball
They're
around.
outside playing badminton right now, actually.
Playing some badminton, yes, we got some badminton fans out there, cool. And then sleep, right? So sleep routines, give me a heart out there if you love sleeping. Anybody? Any sleepers? Okay, well, I was sleeping. Do you like sleeping?
I like sleeping.
Yeah,
Sleeping's
we're sleep fans, so make sure that's a routine, right? And I think that one's really tricky because you're like, well, we don't have to go to school tomorrow, so shouldn't I stay up later? And probably you should sleep at least the same time every night. I don't know what time that'll be, but oh, good. Look, they're all the sleep lovers out there. And then relaxation. So Dr. Harris says you really need to incorporate relaxation into your day somewhere, right? You just can't go, 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 go till you drop. And I know a lot of my friends that I work with and that I know are workaholics. They just love what they do, so they work all the time, but you still need to have a little time to relax. And then make sure that every day you're checking in on your own mental health and the mental health of your family. Because, you know, at some point the stress gets to be too much for some of us, and it's really important to know where you are with that and to check in. And then finally, relationships need to be a part of your routine, right? So spending time with your family, like right now, is something that I would recommend in this really high stress time, but really anytime I would still recommend it. Okay, so how about some tips? Tips to helping you create a good routine. It's not as simple as it sounds. First of all, talk to your family about the new routine you might want to start. And while you're talking to them, make sure you know what the goals are. And 5-year-olds can kind of get this, any younger than that, and it's probably you just tell them what to do. But what are your goals? So sometimes the goal is like, hey guys, we've been eating a lot of carbs lately during COVID, and so we're going to maybe try to get more exercise together as a family. So that's maybe our new goal, and we'll incorporate that into our new routine. Or maybe you're like, hey guys, we really need to be on a sleep schedule because I think it's really messing with our moods. So, so that's the new reason why we're doing this routine. Or, hey guys, you're old enough now that you can understand how to do the dishes, so I'm going to teach you that new routine. Or cooking dinner, or whatever it is that you want in the routine. So explain why that is, figure out your long-term goals, and then be fair about routines, right? So like, this girl is really good at helping me out. My other girl is slightly less good. And so, you know, but be fair. Don't make Abby do it all, right? Emma has to pull her weight a little bit. And then build on your family's strengths. So I have one kid who gets up early, and I have the other kid who would sleep all day if I let her. So maybe this one gets the first shower or gets to help with the morning chores, and then my late night one helps with the late night chores. So build on your strengths, understand what those are, and then set them up for success, right? And then, so one thing that will help you with routines if you pair them with already existing routines, right? So for example, brushing your teeth. Most of us are doing it, right? Not all of us are flossing though, right? So, okay, probably we should do that. My sister, I don't know.
You guys.
I don't know if my sister Katie's out there, but she's a dentist, so she wants you all to floss. But so that's a new kind of routine to get into, but if you pair it with your brushing, it's a little bit easier. Likewise with bedtime, everybody eventually goes to bed. And so pairing a book with your bedtime is a great way to incorporate a new routine because there's already somewhat of a routine there. And then make sure that sometimes you have to make small changes in order to incorporate new things into your routine. So like with the flossing. So I wasn't a good flosser for a while, and then I was set a New Year's resolution. I'm going to floss every other day because I thought, well, that's easy enough. Like, that's not a huge commitment. But then I just forgot which day was the day, and so then I just was like, well, I better do it because I forgot. And then I just do it every day now. So that's one thing you can kind of work on is just baby stepping it, just little incremental changes that'll help you stick with your routine. And then sometimes, especially with kids, you have to use reminders. So for the morning routine, sometimes my reminder is my alarm clock. Oh, I got to get up. So lots of people use alarm clocks. Another kind of set of reminders is to have pictures, and especially kids who have special needs, kids with autism, some kids who have ADHD, even just any kid, sometimes kids who don't read yet, love pictures as a way to help them remind them what comes next and what the routine is. I know when Emma was littler, she forgot that mornings, like during the morning, you were supposed to like smile and say good morning to people. Like that wasn't part of her routine. She was just kind of grumpy, and So we put like smiley faces everywhere and like a sign on our door that said, hey, remember to smile and say good morning, just like be more cheerful, I guess, as part of your routine. So we tried to remind her with that. But sometimes you can put up pictures like on the bedroom door, like make your bed or something, and it's a picture of a made bed. I don't know. You guys figure it out. Give me the ideas. And then like we talked about posting rules, if that'll help remind the kids that, hey, it's not coming from me. This is written on a wall somewhere, so it has to be true. And then finally, just have it be fun. I know you've likely seen Mary Poppins, but like, routines don't have to be a drag. Like we love shared reading, right? We totally love it. So there are routines that can be fun, like cooking dinner. Abby just cooked dinner tonight and it was awesome. So make them fun if you can. And then finally, like if you have great routines, don't be afraid to break them sometimes, right? Like what's our routine on the weekend?
Depends which one.
There's none, right? Like, I don't know. We just get up and do whatever. So it's okay to not have a routine sometimes, but like most of the time, it'll really help keep your sanity if you do. And then how about some examples? I'm going to give some examples, and then I want you guys to give some examples of some ideas of good routines specifically for right now, which is like a weird time, kind of a scary time for a lot of us. What will help us right now with our routines and what will help our kids. So I wrote one here, you can't really see it if I get really close, journaling, right? So Abby, you're doing some journaling? Yeah. Tell me about it.
So just like, I have this journal right by my bed, and like before I start reading at night, I'll just record the things that happened to me today.
And does it help you like feel better?
I mean, it shows me how not really interesting my life is during COVID, but
well, that does help. And journaling has been shown in some studies to, if you process your feelings and thoughts and put them down on paper, the writing of that helps you identify what your feelings are and helps you better process them. So people report feeling actually better after they journal. But also, I think those journals will be fascinating. She doesn't think they're fascinating, but if we ever do kind of make it to the other side of this this COVID situation, that having those to share with your family when you're a little bit older would be really cool, or just share with yourself to kind of how did you work through this experience. I think they'll be really interesting. So journaling's one. Let's see, what else do I have? I've got family walks. So what do you think about family walks?
I think family walks are the bomb.com.
Bomb.com. So family walks are great. It kind of ticks off a lot of your boxes to help you with stress during COVID, right? So nature, right? We're out in the, yes, we have some nature lovers out there. Some exercise, right? And then some quality time with the family. Sometimes on walks, like you might even see another human being, maybe. So that is yay for seeing other humans. So family walks are great if you can do it. Sometimes you can't do it because of circumstances, and then who knows if they'll even let us do it sometime. So take advantage of it until they tell us we can't do that anymore. So family meals are great, and I recommend having dinner together all the time if you can, but sometimes you can't because of whatever. But if you sit down together every night and have a meal, that ticks off a couple of boxes too. So one, it ticks off the nutrition box, right? Because you're not necessarily out anywhere. We can't really do that anymore. So good nutrition, but then also some quality time, right? So what's one of our like rituals that we do at dinner?
We'll go around the table and we'll share a good thing that happened to us and a bad thing that happened to us. We call it our roses and our thorns.
Right, so it's an actual time where you can put away all your screens, everybody's looking at everybody's eyeballs, and you actually can like hear how somebody's day went, figure out how they're processing things, what's a good thing that happened to you, tell me a bad thing. Like, we're not afraid to talk about bad things that happen to us, because guess what, that's part of life. We're all here together, though, to figure it out. And sometimes our roses and our thorns are hilarious. And then Emma invented stems. They're just things that happen that are neither good or bad. So
agreed today, guys.
Right.
With Miss Stem.
So another routine could be game night. Like, we don't have a set game night. So give me a heart out there if you have a set game night that you guys do. But we like games, right? So what games do you like?
Well, I like to play Codenames.
Yeah.
Codenames is good.
Codenames is a good one.
I enjoy playing checkers, and I like Scrabble.
Yeah. I'm more of a Connect 4 girl. I like Mastermind. we sometimes like Pictionary, categories. Those are kind of some ones that I like. Oh yeah, there's a new one, Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. That's a good one. So lots of games out there. And then movie night, right? Or show night. I guess we're watching Parks and Rec. Give me a heart out there if you guys like Parks and Rec. But what do you think about show night or movie night?
I think that is also the bomb.com.
Right? It's like,
it's really fun.
Like when we watch that show, now we have all the inside jokes about the show. So like we can just fire those off anytime.
Leslie, I looked up your symptoms and it looks like you might have internet connectivity problems.
So yeah, so show night can be fun. And then my favorite one, of course, is shared reading. We already talked about that. So what books are we sharing right now?
Well, right now we're doing the Westing game and also Harry Potter number 4.
Yep.
Yeah, number 4.
Number 4. We're working our way. We got number 4 is a long book, but that's one of my favorite ones. So we just got to the part where. Okay, okay. Oh, a lot of Harry Potter fans out there. They're like, don't spoil it. Okay. So those are my tips for making good routines and just understanding why routines keep us in a safe, secure pattern, predictability, helps kind of relieve some of the burden off of us, bring us together as a family. So now I'm going to open it up to questions. You guys have any questions out there, type them in for me. And then also, if you guys have favorite routines that you're doing out there that you want the rest of the world to know, let me know. Let me see if we have anything. Oh, why isn't this bigger? Okay.
Well, there's a new comment.
Nope. What's happening?
Oh, no, I don't know.
All right.
You should look at the new comment.
Yeah. Oh, spoilers. No spoilers. Okay, I didn't spoil it. I promise. Code names. You got some good fans of code names out there. Love it. Lunch and communication. So when we're done eating, okay. Why can't I read all these here? Let me make this bigger, Abby. Can you do it?
Here. No, there's no one. When we're done eating. Nope, can't read that.
Right, we'll get it.
It's right in the middle of the scroll.
Got another one up here. Oh, we got some thank yous. Wonderful ideas. Great. Love it. Awesome. Great video. A lot of people can use it. Good. Well, I hope you can, and I'm happy to come back later and talk about other things too if you guys have ideas for things you really want to know about. So Allison Rasmussen, they're pairing lunch with communication,
so
and
when
then
they're
they
done
write
eating,
letters,
they write letters or call or
family.
Zoom family.
That makes sense. So you guys have lunch together, and then you reach out to the other family. Awesome. I love that idea. A great new place to do it. Okay. Nicole, thank you. Oh, someone asked for tips to teens and seniors or families with healthcare professionals how to explain COVID to, why can't I read that?
I don't know, comments are confusing.
Yeah. Okay, so teens, it's really hard to feel connected right now, isn't it? It's just so hard. We've been using things like Marco Polo to FaceTime each other. You can actually get onto Zoom. Zoom can give you like I think it's like a 45-minute free Zoom if you sign up for free, and then you can like get your friends together to Zoom. And then I've heard, like, I think Tina Fey said that her family did like a Zoom talent show where they connected with some of their older relatives there and felt more connected that way. And I've had friends out there who have done virtual sleepovers.
This morning, Emma had a meeting with her teacher and her whole class. It was really fun.
Yeah, the class Zoomed together, and you could see the like Brady Bunch picture of everybody that could join the class, and so that made her feel really happy. You could see that she felt connected with her teacher and with her other friends out there. Let me comment here. All right. There's a great info on 0to3.com about how to talk to your kids about the pandemic. Yeah, and talking about the pandemic is a whole other talk in itself, I would say. The American Academy of Pediatrics also has some great information on healthychildren.com about how to talk about COVID to your kids and to your family. And, you know, what they say is, yes, you need to explain COVID because kids need to know the truth about things, but you need to be reassuring about it and explain it in kid-friendly terms so that they're not, so that they can understand it. And then they also say, make sure that you give kids some control over it, because sometimes kids feel scared or anxious about it and they want to just feel like they can do something or be in control a bit. So say, hey, here are your jobs during COVID. Your jobs are to help out in the home, and your jobs are to wash your hands, don't touch your face. And then maybe you can include some other jobs in that to give kids a little control, like, oh, your job is to write a letter to grandma every week, or whatever it is. But kids need to feel reassured, to feel safe, but they still need some information about what it is. And so, yep, for the full information about that, I usually send you to healthychildren.org. They have a full page about how to talk about coronavirus to kids, but also 0 to 3 has a great page, and I think we're all kind of working together.
Someone asked any good bedtime routines ideas.
Oh, yeah. So bedtime routines. I would love to hear your bedtime routine ideas. We usually have a little bit of a countdown to bedtime, so you know it's coming up. Emma's always like, what time is it? Because she's like worried about bedtime coming up. And then we go upstairs, and the girls usually get clean first. So, you know, bath or shower, whatever they prefer, brush teeth, floss, hopefully, right, Katie? And then we all kind of climb in together and read Harry Potter together. Sometimes when Emma's in the bath, I'll read a different book to her. That's the Wessing game that we're reading. So then we do that and go to bed. But when they were younger, our bedtime was different. So I think your bedtimes are different, whatever age your kids are. And I was thinking about that. Routines can start really, really early. Like even if you have a newborn to 2-month-old, sometimes those kids are, you're like, oh, they don't know day and night and they can't possibly understand routines. But infants' brains are growing at a really rapid rate. So if your infant's like waking up multiple times at night or like every hour to feed, you can teach your infant like, hey, you know, nighttime is, we're going to wake up maybe every 2 to 3 hours. And then in the daytime, maybe we'll sleep a little bit longer at night. And you can have them wake up every 2 to 3 hours during the day and then sleep longer at night if you just give them some environmental cues, you know, like during the day, we have the lights on, we have a dance party, we have music, we, you know, interact more and play more. But nighttime is all business, lights are low, we're just going to feed you, change you, go to bed, like that's the business. And so babies can learn that. By 4 months, babies can really get into routines because they're understanding object permanence. So like they want to fall asleep in the same environment that they will wake up in later. And babies will probably wake up about 4 or 5 times at night. Most of us wake up 4 or 5 times at night. We hopefully have learned to self-soothe and put ourselves back to sleep without even realizing it. Babies need to learn that too. So 4 months is a great time to really be like, okay, let's get you on a routine, see how we do. But sometimes those 4-month-olds will still need to eat at night, especially the breastfed ones. But routines apply to babies too. At that age, we did a lot of feeding and then reading and then singing and then lying down drowsy but awake. And I know that's easier said than done. So so it depends on what age everybody is. For Abby, who's a tweenager, we do, you know, we tuck in still. And Abby and I used to read like some young adult books together. We read some good ones, right? Like we read Wonder, and then we read I Am Malala.
And we read like The Witch of Blackbird Pond.
Yeah, so we just kind of ticked off a whole bunch of books.
Murphy.
And then, then we just, Abby, I'll let her read until she falls asleep because I'm like, reading's probably good for you. Sleep's also good for you. So, but yeah, just having the same time every night, same routine, like try not to deviate from it is the best way to like ensure the healthier sleep if you can. So good ideas. I'd love to hear more of your ideas. Anybody has any? Oh, yay. Suzanne says, thank you for the info and reminders. I bet you're good at some routines over there, right? Someone's practicing their piano. Help children be able to express how they feel in words, sad, angry, anxious. I think that's really important to teach kids what feelings are and to not dismiss their feelings, right? It's totally legitimate to have feelings about COVID and about this whole coronavirus experience. So yeah, be like, I hear you. I understand you're feeling sad, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling worried. and definitely get validate your child's feelings, and then say, well, what are some ways we can kind of work through that together? And when I'm angry, I maybe, and try not to do some of the negative self-cares, but maybe you jump up and down, or maybe you scream really loud, or maybe you decide to go outside and do a cartwheel. There's lots of ways we can teach kids to deal with their feelings. So encourage you guys to tell me more, right? What did she say?
Well, they said that their 6-year-old that they're using reminders on their Amazon Echo, and that's helping them stick to their schedule.
Awesome. Good idea to use the Echo. I love using my Echo. We use it all the time. We play Jeopardy on the Echo, and oh my gosh, you guys, my husband taught the Echo. He programmed the Echo so if you ask it, like, Alexa, who's the best mom in the world? Alexa, right there. Who's the best mom in the world?
I just compared all moms in history, and my conclusion is that Amy Shriver is the best.
I don't know if you could hear that, but he programmed it to say that I was the best mom in the world, and that also my dog is the best dog in the world. So, but yeah, using the Echo to remind you of things is a great idea, because sometimes, like, if you have a teen or tween who's trying to self-school somehow, like, you're not going to be able to be around them. I've had great suggestions about school. I don't have all the answers about what to do about homeschooling. Believe me, I'd love to hear from you guys about that. But one of my friends said that she gives her older child, this age child, a checklist and just says, try to do this throughout the day. It's not necessarily a schedule, but it allows for some flexibility. So I think we're all just trying to survive at this point. We've incorporated how to tell time with our routines. Got to sneak in education. Good job, Emily. Yes, we've been working on clocks as well. That's a good idea. Check your schedule. I like that. The daughter's always checking her schedule. Good idea. Love that. Yep, Echo's reminding us. Yep. Okay, you guys have really good ideas, and I think right now that one of the big messages is just to really give everybody a little bit of grace. Look, you don't have to have perfect routines right now. Just do what you can. Give yourself some grace. Know that, hey, some of you are teachers out there, and thank you very much if you are, but I'm not a teacher, and a lot of us aren't. And so we have our kids home with us, and we're trying to just work that out. So just give them some grace and be gentle with them, and try to keep them on some relatively reasonable schedule. But then make sure to incorporate fun in your day a little bit too, because I think we all need a little bit of laughter and a little bit of fun to alleviate some of the stress too. So schedules are great. Don't be too rigid, but do and try and incorporate those things we talked about before, right? So good nutrition, good exercise, good sleep. Mental health checks, relaxation, and relationships. And if you have those kind of as a focus, then at least you'll have that baseline going forward to help deal with some of the stress that we're all dealing with. So, all right, I think we're kind of winding down. So thank you guys all so much for coming and joining us on Facebook Live tonight for Mental Health Mondays. So it turns out we're going to do this a lot of Mondays. Tune in next Monday. There'll be another discussion about you and your family's mental health next week, and hopefully the other weeks, and that is through Please Pass the Love and the Iowa's Healthiest State Initiative and the Make It Okay. So I really want to say thank you for coming, and thank you to those organizations for organizing this. And I wish you good health and safety for all of you. I hope that you're doing a great job washing your hands, and we will see you again next week. Say bye. Bye.